Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I have an entertaining game to share with you from 1994. This is from a rapid knockout tournament in New York. On the white end, Judit Polgár, and she's playing against Nigel Short. 25-minute game, French defense, classical. E5 signals the Steinitz variation. Some space for white. Knight d7 met with the underdeveloping Knight e2. This guy is now free to advance and is there just in time to support the center. Queen Knight goes to its favorite square. F4. So with this system by white, both flank pawns are there to support white's center. Okay, black releases the tension. With that sequence, we're exchanging c-pawns. Computer doesn't like this approach. Why? Well, in some cases, now the white queen knight can make use of, or return to its favorite square. c3 is now vacant. Okay, black, of course, has an idea in mind by releasing the tension. There's some clarification in the center now. It is fixed, and with his follow-up, f5, he's looking to fix the position further. Shut down the king side. Black wants to next play on the queen's wing. Now this is of course one of those now or never moments. Do you take on f6 en passant and open the position up? It's best or better not to play in this way. How can you maybe know this? Well, if you're capturing in this way, you would be inviting the king knight back to its favorite square. A lot of favorite squares for the knights. Okay, and we can see that this knight from f6 observes a very weakened square. e4 is the weakest in white's house, and the knight and pawn coordinate on it. Okay, so in this one, it is, we're going to play, I should say, within this fixed structure. Knight f3 is the follow-up, knight b6, and some prep work for g4. This is the side of the board white should look to play. How do I know this? The e-pawn told me. That's where white has space. You should be looking to play on the side of the board where you have space. What's an idea? Well, with g4, maybe you break down f5. If f5 is not around, maybe you get in this nice pawn duo. An f5 advance, maybe, at some point. Okay, the king side is where white should look to play. Black continues developing, forms a battery. Is this going to scare white away from playing g4? No. White says, I'm okay going uncastled. That's exactly what white is signing up for when you play g4. You have to know bishop h4 can hit. That's what we have. How do you deal with the check? Do you take the bishop or run? How would you play it? Feel free to pause the video. Okay, in the game it is knight takes bishop. Computer prefers running right away. Holds it around an even position. The queen, I don't think, feels so comfortable. With the pressure on the bishop, she has this responsibility. Maybe she could even be cut off in some lines from defending the bishop. g5 could be an idea. But white has reasoned in this game, I could just work around the black queen. There she is on f2, targeting now d4. How do you deal with that? Well, white says at this point, I'm going to have to give up a pawn. Plays b3. Tries to at least tame this knight. What if you try something else instead of b3, like king c2, allowing the queen to defend for the second time? This would be a losing move. Queen f3 is very strong, hitting the rook, and after it moves, there's knight b4 ideas. And here's a quick way the game could end. Queen e4, and it would be checkmate next. Okay. White tames a knight. Black wins a pawn, and white runs forward, king on the third rank. Critical moment. There is now only one move where black would be in an excellent position, a winning position. Does not find the way. Black goes for a material grab in this game. And in just a couple moves, the tables completely turn. What is considered best in this position? Maintain the knight. Keep the knight and queen still around. Next up, there's d4, and another piece could enter the fray. Two knights, a pawn, and a queen will be swirling around the white king. Black, though, does not judge this one correctly, goes in for the material grab, takes the rook, lands the check first, takes the rook next. I imagine this move was considered as well, taking on b3 first and only then capturing the rook. Probably discounted that because you'd be activating the a1 rook. So he simply goes straight in for the material. White recaptures the knight. So this is where we stand. There is now no longer any attack against the white king. The black queen is all in by herself, not coordinated, and believe it or not, she's in the corner right now. Eventually, she will be flushed all the way back home. Look at the piece quality in this position. This is where we could do some, take stock of the positional features. Monster knight on d4, terrible knight on b6, pressure on f5 right around the corner. There can be a passed e-pawn. Also tactically, a one-move shot here. White is a blink away from winning the queen. Okay, black gets out of that tactic, lands a check. King backs off. Black now castles. In comes a4. Two ideas. Scare the knight away. If it's forced to d7, e6 would fall. Black at least stabilizes the knight, but there was another idea behind a4. Here we go. The black queen had her fun. Now it's white's turn. Rook a2, queen g3, rook g2, queen c3, the g file is peeled open, the e pawn is now passed, bishop, the unopposed bishop, gets on the main diagonal, the queen goes back to c7. One more move, e6. Let's pause for a moment. Do you see everything that's happening in this position? Look at this bishop and rook targeting g7. This is where black will find it most difficult to defend on the dark squares. g7 is in the crosshairs, and e6. Look at what this one pawn is doing to the queenside pieces. Takes away d7 from the knight, from the bishop, and if the knight and the bishop cannot move, the rook doesn't play. One pawn holds up 11 points. Completely winning position here for white. What's tried? Rook f6. Knight takes f5. What do you do here? In the game, it's rook g6. If you capture the knight, excellent follow-up here would be queen d4, and this is going to collapse. White would simply put a third attacker on. That's what you get with queen d4, and you can't move the pawn because there would be mate in the corner pocket. So, no rook takes knight. Rook g6 instead. Bishop e5. There the queen goes back home. Knight takes g7. With that capture, there's now two connected passed pawns, and these guys are still held up by a pawn. From here, a square is produced at least for a knight or a queen, but it's much too late. Passed pawns are advancing. f5, rook takes rook, bishop takes rook. Queen g5 met with the cool move. Queen h5, that's the queen's first move. The black queen, how many moves did she make to get to the g5 square? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 moves. White, just a single move with the queen, very powerful, threatening to get to f7 or e8. You can't play this position with the queen still on. Black must initiate the exchange. White goes into this queenless ending, completely winning. Still, these guys are all restricted by this one pawn alone. What is tried? Rook a6, bishop takes d4, and now a very sad final move to make. Knight A8. What else do you do here to untangle your position? It's too late, no matter what you try. Final move of this game, bishop d5, and black finally throws in the towel. Right around the corner, there is e7 check and promotion. There's nothing you could do to stop that. This is not a try because you still push. Knight takes bishop. There would be mate. And anything else, if you try to go over here, you're going to get hit with the bishop check, king e8 and knight check, push with check, and promotion. Completely winning here for white, of course. But this one goes no further. After this bishop d5, black simply resigns. Anyhow, feel free, as usual, to leave any feedback to this video in the comments section below. I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe took a thing or two away. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.